Among all of the centers that are available at the NHL deadline, Brock Nelson is going to be one that is pretty high up on my list. I even might think that he's a little bit above Yanni Gourde, in my opinion. Now, we did get Larkin's list from the Daily Faceoff that there are 5 teams that are confirmed in on him and the most likely suitors. And it goes like this: the Colorado Avalanche, the Dallas Stars, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Minnesota Wild, and the Winnipeg Jets. Now, I do think that the top on this list in terms of need of center would probably either be Minnesota, because Minnesota definitely really does. They have some good centers, but they could really use some more name recognition down the middle. And definitely the Maple Leafs. And I say the Maple Leafs simply because they have the Austin Matthews issue, and Austin Matthews has been in and out, and you honestly just can't. He doesn't seem like he's going to have a reliable season this year, right? Now, Brock Nelson is heading into unrestricted free agency. He is a center, obviously, as I already said. But as I say, if you've been following this channel for a while, centers are going to be at a premium. We all know that. Now, in this article, when it comes to the Colorado Avalanche, Larkin was talking about the fact that they don't have as many assets to possibly get the deal done. I do think that it's going to blow your socks off what teams are going to pay for these players. I think that it is a smart thing for the Islanders and the Seattle Kraken and teams that do have solidified, middle six centers to hold out. And hold out a lot, because they are going to have a lot of options at the deadline, and they are going to have a lot of desperate teams knocking on their door. I always have said that Brock Nelson is one of the quietest 30-plus goal guys. Now, this year, he isn't necessarily having a great season this year, to be fair. Although he had many, many good seasons before that. Again, it doesn't matter about the season this guy's having. If he's still a solidified middle six center, when July 1st rolls around, I guarantee you he is going to get paid. Now, when we talk about the Dallas Stars, for example, Dallas Stars have Tyler Seguin on LTIR, so they already are dealing with some really bad injury issues there when it comes to their middle six center wing depth. For a team like the Dallas Stars, who actually just beat the Leafs recently, they fancy themselves a cup contender. They really, really do, and I understand completely why. That team has done an excellent job of building around their core. Jake Ottinger, Robertson. They've done an excellent job of rebuilding and getting a true competitive core. Now, when we talk about the Dallas Stars, they truly do have a lot of draft picks and prospects to offer. But here's the thing, though. In this article, Larkin does talk about the fact that they do need a defenseman as well, and that makes a lot of sense, right? I still think that the premier asset is going to be a center, but that's just me. Now, you could point to Minnesota possibly being a very, very good suitor for Brock Nelson as well. He is a Minnesota native, so he lives around, or he was born around that area. And the Minnesota Wild and Bill Guerin do have a pretty deep prospect pool of players that they absolutely could trade to the New York Islanders. I think that does increase the odds of a trade to whatever team, because if they have the most assets, they are going to be able to outcompete other teams. So Minnesota Wild might actually be an underdog. Now, we don't talk nearly enough on this channel about how good Minnesota's been. I do tend to talk about original six and Canadian teams a little bit more, but Minnesota's been really good. They're a very stingy defensive team, as I said earlier. Maybe a little bit more name recognition down the middle. A little bit more depth down the middle. We're talking about a good defensive team. If they can get some scoring punch, we do know that hockey is a complex game. It tends to rely on luck a little bit. But again, if you can get scoring and you can get the right saves and you can get good defensive capability away from the puck, I would not doubt that Minnesota is going to go on a bit of a run this year, especially if they're able to get a center. Now, when we talk about the Maple Leafs, they have cap issues that are going to complicate this for sure. They definitely have some cap issues where, you know, they're going to have to make some moves. They're going to maybe even involve like a third team or something like that. They do not have their first round selection. I know they have a second round selection this year, so they might need to say bye-bye to that. I'll put the information up on the screen. I know they have a 2026 first round pick, but they might need to say bye to that, and they might not also need to say bye to a Ben Danford. I'm really skeptical still. I understand that Easton Cowan's his trade value as a trade chip has taken a little bit of a hit this year after a bad World Junior. I would still be very skeptical of trading him unless I was going to get an asset that was going to stick around. Again, like I always say about the Maple Leafs, I've been consistent on this. I do think that when it comes to Ben Danford, they should be okay with moving him and their 2026 first round selection as well. That's something that they absolutely have to consider. The Winnipeg Jets also look very, very competitive. I mean, they're a team that is one of the top teams in their division. They've had a hell of a start to the season. They could use some depth down the middle as well. I am interested to see how interested that Winnipeg will be in a rental piece. They've generally been a very smart organization in terms of, you know, they're very good at drafting, right? They've actually been pretty sharp at that. They're a pretty well-run organization for a team that has difficulty attracting free agents to their city. They've just been very, very consistently competitive. So just a quick shout out to Winnipeg there. Now, I want to hear what you guys think. What team do you think that Brock Nelson will go to? And honestly, throw in another center like a Yanni Gourde. Where do you think Yanni Gourde will actually ultimately end up around the NHL past the trade deadline? We know that these players are going to be on the move. I would be shocked if they aren't. Anyways, I just want to make a quick video on this article. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.